We are getting started here. Game 1.
Let's get right into it. We're seeding be damned. This is going to be a really fun match.
Yep, winner takes the pool here. So game 1, they're going to be playing to win here. Let's see what we have.
Okay.
Very
this is going to be a fun one. All right. So what are you thinking about these comps coming right into it?
I mean, if Infinite Squared has a very short range comp compared to, you know, a sniper and a slosh machine to deal with. Very interesting. We're gonna be seeing a lot of aggression from Infinite Square. I think we can just tell that from the composition they're running. And it's a 3v3 right now. Yoshi getting caught off in some curling bombs there, but still a fight for mid. Luminous has a small advantage.
So you brought up the short range that Infinite Square is bringing to this. What kind of implications do you think this brings for how they want to try and control this map? Because it looks like they want to be right in their faces.
Absolutely.
But Luminous doesn't want any part of this. We see them take the initial lead, but if they're going to try to fight that close quarters battle, I feel like there's going to be picks left and right the entire set.
What Luminous is going to have to do, they're going to have to be aware of their positioning and their surroundings, because if they push up, they can get dropped on by these short-range weapons real quick. But they also have to push up quickly, because if they don't, they will get pushed out real quick from the aggression from Infinite Square here. And Infinite Squared has a small lead to start off. It looks like Luminous is going to get mid back fairly quickly here. So we might be seeing a back and forth game here, just a minute and a half into it though. I think that what we want to see from Luminous is get advantageous positions, abuse their kind of longer range, but the front lines are going to have to win their firefights. That's a big deal here.
Just watching all of these little firefights break out, these 2v2s, these 1v1s, it's interesting to see, because it's like we're not seeing any full fights yet. We really can't see what the implications of a full wipe is going to bring to the game. And the lead that Infinite Square has is not a safe one, as we see Luminous pick away at the lead itself. They're going to even break a little bit ahead, but they're not pushed up very far for this. Lux trying to cover. Stingray not going to be able to do much. It's weakening the other team, though.
That's 3 down. That's actually 3 down for Luminous, as the roller able to stop the tower, but not for long, as it's going to be a trade. So Luminous, now they're on the plat. This is where they're going to have to abuse their range and keep their good positioning, because they can absolutely zone out this composition that Infinite Squared has, that short range. They might start struggling to get in here, as we see a full wipe. Luminous, they're definitely playing to their advantage right now. And this is getting real bad for Infinite Squared right now.
I'm loving this aggressive push we're seeing from Luminous right now. See the special dropping them so far into enemy territory. They know what they can get away with. And look how close they are to capping. They got a 4-point lead now. Mind you, that's not the full cap. And we still have 2.5 minutes on the clock.
Absolutely.
So they could lose this lead. But if they're willing to go for those bold type of plays, especially in the face of an aggressive comp that Infinite Square has brought, it shows that Luminous came to play today.
Absolutely. So that was a great push from Luminous. It just, I mean, they had great teamwork. I think I saw a lot more Luminous players paired up compared to Infinite Square, as they're going to get right back on the tower. They're going for more pressure here, not trying to let Infinite Square breathe and get their own control, because that's, hey, they're trying to keep advantage here. They're not trying to give Infinite Square any room to breathe.
Look at the patience over here with the positioning we have from Luminous.
Yeah.
They're so ready to hold this point right here.
Yeah, we saw they were waiting for their teammates, and it worked out for them. They were able to get the kills on a few of their players, and now Moody moving up with a splash on, getting picked off, but he has his teammates behind him. Let's see what they can do.
Taka trying to get onto the point, but just not able to do it just yet. Instead, going to opt to try and cover where the Inkjet's going to land once the pressure's down, but not able to cover the point.
Now his teammate able to find that guy trying to get the drop. You know, good teamwork. They're covering each other. They're not letting each other fall alone, get picked off alone. Look at that. Look at that. 2v1. Another 2v1 here.
Look at these picks left and right.
Jared coming out through to the kind of the goal side right there. This is great teamwork from Luminous. They're moving together and executing very well right now.
I feel like herein lies the fault of bringing such an aggressive comp like Infinite Square brought. They're ready for fighting. Like, they're ready to get in the thick of it. But if they can't leave their base, what does it matter?
It doesn't. And that's exactly what I was saying. Luminous had to play to their advantage, and I think they did that very well there. They got it rolling, and they could not be stopped.
And with game one out of the way, I feel like that was a very aggressive stance from Luminous. They were like, all right, we're here. we are the 3rd seed. We're here to win, and we're not taking any questions. No is not an answer here. And I'm actually really curious to see what that's going to mean coming into Rainmaker on Starfish, because Luminous, both teams seemed really well organized. It just seemed like the game plan that Luminous brought to the table was just stronger for this particular comp, and they were able to execute it beat for beat perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what we saw there was Luminous. They got on the plat, and you know those KDs, they were in Luminous favor, but it wasn't, you know, Infinite Squared had good kills, but I think the problem was they were some isolated kills, a lot of trades. They didn't really get an advantage that they could follow up cleanly, and that kind of became the problem for them. You know,
I feel like the trades that they did go for, it was unoptimal where they were positioning themselves, because it's like, Infinite Square would get the pick, but then they would be left at low health, like in the middle of the square.
Absolutely.
And that just leaves you prime for the picking for anything. You can just get caught in like the edge of the blast radius of a bomb, and you're done.
Absolutely. And what you saw from Luminous, they took risks at the right time. When they did have someone push up and go for what the kills they needed, there were teammates behind them to cover it and just follow up. Right. That's what you saw. They were covering each other. They were taking very smart risks, very smart aggressive plays, and I definitely paid off for them. I think Infinite Squared is definitely going to have to adjust their play style here a bit as we get into Game 2. Bit of a different comp here.
Ballpoint coming out.
We see a machine, but we see the Ballpoint from Lux opting off of the sniper. Ballpoint recently getting a nerf, but still very strong, and I think Ballpoint can definitely definitely have an advantage against a short-range comp that Infinite Squared is still running.
Yeah, controlling the backline is going to be super important for Luminous, especially like now that Kensa slashing is brought to the table. It's going to be a lot easier for Infinite Square to try and fight out from a distance, and especially around cover.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting. Once we see the initial break, see what happens here, I'm very curious to see how both of these teams will try and control that space right between center stage and the cap point.
Yep. But hey, that's 3 down already from Infinite Square, I believe, to start off that. We saw a flank fail from the roller, and the Tenetech try to push up to help him, but they both just got picked off separately, and that's going to be a lot of control here for Luminous. Jared kind of camping out back here, trying to push up. But the machine here on Infinite Square trying to be able to find the Rainmaker, but at the expense of going down himself to the flank from Jared, I believe. And they're going to maintain that control right now.
Yeah, the Rainmaker was left in actually a really good position to sort of rally it off to the next person on Luminous. And while not as good of a position as previously, it's still not bad at all. Yep. If Luminous can manage to pick off here, then they could keep this rally going. But it seems like Infinite Square should be able to take action. Oh, I stand corrected. It takes a quick double from Tarako to try and stop the push, but look at that. That's right near the podium.
Yep, they get up to a 13, just able to sneak it by a smart play. He knew he had somebody in front of him to paint the path. Even though there was a guy behind him, he was able to move it before getting picked off there. And still, look at Dash, push all the way up. He's right at the Rainmaker.
That's it.
Infinite Square not even aware that he's there, not able to react and fall back to the flank. And that, wow, just sudden.
That was just such a haphazard game.
Wow. You know, constantly we saw Luminous players pushed up near that Rainmaker podium all the way up, and it ended up just coming down to that last flank.
I feel like a lot of that had to do with just Luminous. They waited their opportunity before they started like rallying their pushes. Like we saw a really good like just standard team control at the ledge.
Yeah.
It was just like fight for center stage, wait to run the point, and then once they did that, it was almost like a baton race.
Yeah.
Like pass off the point here, pass it off here, and it was like from each layer of defense that Infinite Square had. And even though there were a couple of players, Taraku namely, who was like really well positioned for defense, everyone else was broken off into solo play, and I feel like Luminous had the better kit for the 1v1 fights, and they were just winning them constantly. That's why that was such a runaway game for them. I
don't even think they were necessarily winning the 1v1 fights, but what they did, they maintained a backline, and they maintained people pushing the aggression onto the point. They had people pushing the Rainmaker podium constantly that, you know, it gave Infinite Square more to think about, and they had a backline. They had a ball point. They had things. They had people staying back, making sure that no control was being lost, while they also had aggressors moving up, and it just was a deadly combination because even if they could take out some people. There was somebody in the back causing havoc, or there was a ball point preventing them from really moving out because they were getting a lot of trades. Not really, they weren't able to get anything solid. By the way, I love the broccoli mic.
I want to eat this.
The microphone
so
right now.
It's so tantalizing, man. But I gotta wait a little bit for my broccoli because we're going right into Game 3. Once again, Snapper Canal for Clam Blitz, and very different comp coming in for Luminous C here, but a bit more of the same. I'm sorry, the other way around. Different comp for Infinite Square, more of the same from Luminous C. And I feel like Luminous C just has a fine game plan. If they're able to roll with what they had in games 1 and 2, this should be a fine deal for them.
Yeah, I think Infinite Square does have a strong comp for this mode, but it's still gonna have the same struggles, not really having that long range to deal with things like the ball point. If they can get control, it can be very dangerous very quickly, but they're gonna need to build the clams quick. As we're having a bit of a technical issue right now.
Just trying to take a look and see where
we're
things
back.
are going.
We're back, and we're scoring.
Ooh, all right. So finally breaking forward. Luminous C going to push right onwards. Lux with his ball point again to control so much space so quickly. Absolutely. And the Ingstrom right on top of the net, even if there aren't any close by clams. It's so hard just to hold by your own spawn with this.
Oh. Good drop down from the roller to stop the points for a second, but not going to able to do much more as he came down alone and was able to get picked off by the teammate. Luminous C still has a big man advantage. There are so many clams down there. This is just going. That's it already.
Clam Blitz. Blink and you miss it. But that's why Luminous C came here to play, man.
Hey.
That's a 4-0 right out of their pool. They're going to be making it into Top Cut play tomorrow. And if you had any doubts about them before, let those sets be your guide because that was intense play.
Yeah, I think they just used their advantage so well, and they were able to play those. They played those openings, very well. They never overextended.